Welcome in to Seahawks Today Live. Tyler Jones here with you. Happy to have you with us here on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for spending it with us. We got a big show on tap coming up in just a few moments. We'll get to the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors, those involving Bobby Wagner, as K.J. Wright doing a little recruiting for Bobby. We'll explain that in just a bit. Also, we have Mock Draft 3.0 headed your way. I will go through every single pick for your Seattle Seahawks. We ran it through the simulator. I'll show you the results of what went down coming up in just a little while from right now. Plus, we have not one, but two Q&A mailbags headed your way. Get your questions in. Use the hashtag Seahawks, or you can super chat to get to the front of the line for our mailbags that we'll bring you coming up in just a little while from right now. As you guys file in, this is our build-up portion of the show where we encourage you to get active in that chat and tell us where you are watching from. Shout out your city for everybody that mentions where they're at. Not only are we going to shout you out, we're going to mention where you're watching from as well. Myself here at the Chat Sports Studios in downtown Dallas, Texas, joined today by the one and only making his triumphant return to Seahawks Today. Patrick Seaman is here with us, ladies and gentlemen. Seabs, welcome back.
It's an honor to be back, Tyler. I feel at home. I'm with my 12s.
Yay.
Let's go. Let's have a day.
Spam Seeps in the chat. He's back. Long time. You ran off and you're doing bigger things with the Vikings, but normally Jeremy's with us on Wednesdays. He got tied up with some Raiders stuff going on today, but we're glad to have you here, man.
Hey, Tyler and I, we're like peanut butter and jelly. We just get it done. We're going to have a great show for you guys. I'm pumped to be back.
Let's see. Who all's in the chat today? I got Kelso Washington, says aboard Skyler. I got Tyson checking in from Portland. Pablo in South Carolina. I got Kaylee in Everett. I have Jonathan in Kingsville, Texas. Got Brandon in Surprise, Arizona. Robert in Redmond, Oregon. David in Shreveport, Louisiana. I got Frost in Nashville, Tennessee. Hope you're enjoying yourselves there. Mike is in North Dakota. Rohawk in Blackwell, Oklahoma, my home state. Mikey in Houston, you better believe it, is in Houston. Mikey also says, yo, Seeps.
What's up, Mikey?
Good to see you. John is in Muckleshoot. I got EL in Kent, Washington. Seahawks UK checking in across the pond from Birmingham, UK, not Alabama. Let's see. I also see in the chat Germany is here. We also got Australia in the chat. London is where Man in the Pit is at. Chuck is in Port Orchard. Got Thriller in South Seattle. Also got Rogan in Apple Valley. Just to name a few. Seeps, we got an international audience today. Everybody's enjoyed themselves. It's been a very active offseason for your Seattle Seahawks so far at this point, but it's not even close to being over. We're really just getting started with this thing. I got P&W family, Eli in Washington, got Daryl checking in from California, Peter in Virginia as well. Daniel says that he's in Sweden, 11 p.m. over here. Well, hopefully we can be your late night entertainment. Manuel Sanchez in Newburgh, Oregon. Got Michael in San Antonio, Texas as well. And got Peter in Alexandria, Virginia. Cheers to all the 12s out there. Great, the Seahawks free agency moves so far as I crack open a can of Miller Lite today. I got to tell you, you look at the way the Seahawks started.
I was going to ask Tyler, what would be your grade so far for the Seahawks?
So you go with Draymond Jones.
Great pickup.
You get Jaron Reed.
Great pickup.
And then you add in Devin Bush, who I wasn't so high on personally. Julian Love, I really liked that deal.
Fun fact, actually, this is good. I went to high school with Julian Love.
Really?
Yes, he was a senior when I was a freshman, Chicago, Illinois. So this is actually great that it worked out like this. Julian Love, unreal, great guy. You guys have a real one in Julian Love.
Yeah? You guys go back?
Oh, we go back. He came and talked to a bunch of because obviously when he was a senior, I was a freshman. He would come back and talk to our football teams. He played at Notre Dame. He's just a great dude. I mean, great for the community. Julian Love, you guys, that was a great signing.
You bring in Evan Brown as well from the Detroit Lions. He was one of the players that they brought over, and then you re-signed Geno Smith, Drew Lock, number of guys here. One of the things we're going to get to as far as grading the free agency moves, K.J. Wright had some very interesting comments about free agency, doing some recruiting for Bobby Wagner.
Oh, he did.
And he felt like things are kind of incomplete right now when it comes to free agency and the moves the Seahawks have made. So I'll tell you the grade that KJ had to say in just a bit. My personal grade, I give this a B+.
Okay.
It's been really good. I didn't like the Devin Bush move, but there's still a little more wiggle room.
So would you agree with Daniel in the chat right now? You're sitting around a B. They get Wagner. Are you at an A?
If they get Bobby Wagner, they pull that off, it goes up to an A.
Hell yeah. Because you think about that. Wagner, Draymond Jones, and Julian Love, adding that to that defense, whew.
Oh, it'd be incredible. I see Peter says a high C. Robert says B+. Rohawk says A-. Randall says A. Slightly Toasted says B. A if signing Bobby Wagner back. So far, that's some of the grades to this point. We'll show you what K.J. Wright had to say and get reaction on that in just a bit. Speaking of free agency, what has been your favorite free agency signing so far? By the way, another grade from P&W Family B. Talent-wise, it's Draymond Jones. But when I talk value, my favorite was Julian Love because you look at the Seattle Seahawks team. You bring back Jamal Adams next year. You already have Quandre Diggs. Ryan Neal's going to be back as well, who was the highest-rated safety in the entire league according to PFF. With all that being said, Julian Love, whether he starts at safety or nickelback, if you move Jamal Adams to linebacker, whatever it may be, you have flexibility. You have options there. You're going to find somewhere for Julian Love to play in this defense. To me, because you got him at a discount, remember, what the Seahawks paid Julian Love was actually less money than he got offered by the Giants during the season last year. So I'll say this. Although Draymond Jones is far and away the best player the Seahawks signed, the best value was Julian Love. So with that, Julian Love was my favorite signing. How about you, Seeps?
I think I have to agree with you. Julian Love, the number one word, and Seahawks fans, you'll probably hear it all throughout the year, versatility. You can play him anywhere in the secondary. Literally any secondary position, you can play Julian Love that at. In college, he was mainly like a nickel corner, and they would sometimes bounce him outside. Now we've obviously seen him kind of take that step up as a safety with the Giants. I think Julian Love, my favorite pickup for the Seahawks.
Brandon, you're underestimating Love. We're fans of Julian Love.
We're big J Love fans, Brandon.
We're not underestimating him. We're rooting him on. We think he's going to be great. We love the addition. No.
Give me the love, baby.
Let's see. Paul says Julian Love. Peter says Draymond Jones. Moto Gabe says Devin Bush. Ducky says Nolan would be an edge for the Seahawks. Who was your favorite move so far? Let us know. And also, speaking of which, I know we're going to be talking about Bobby Wagner today, but I want to know who's a player the Seahawks should sign in free agency. At this point in time, Seattle has around $12 million in cap space. 10 of that is going to go back to whoever they draft, obviously. Now, you can make the cap move around a bit. You can finagle it of pushing guys their money to other years or other potential cuts. Remember, we still got the June 1 cuts to get to as well, and you can designate players as June 1 cuts. With all that being said, there still is some wiggle room, I think, for another potential signing.
Yeah.
And so with that, I'm not gonna say Bobby Wagner. We'll say besides Bobby, because obviously the answer you all point to would be Bobby Wagner. Besides Bobby Wagner, who would you like to see the Seahawks sign? How about you, Seeps?
Besides Bobby Wagner, would you take a guy like a Unique Ngakoue? Do you need another edge, or?
That'd be nice.
Oh!
We haven't even shown the Super Chat menu yet. We haven't even got to it yet. And Pablo just dropped $45.
Bang! Pablo! Let's go.
We haven't even got to it yet.
You gotta let us wait, Pablo. You gotta wait.
Pablo, we will pay off the 45, but you won't be disappointed. That also means Pablo is close to halfway to a spot on the Boot Hall of Fame. Pablo, with a $45 Super Chat. I owe him a beer jug and then some shots. Do you think the Seahawks draft Kancey at 5 overall or 20? Not at 5.
Not at 5.
20 possibly. but not the number 5 selection. I think
Yeah.
that the Seahawks at 5, Jalen Carter, the Will Andersons, Tyree Wilson, those are the guys you're looking at 5. Now, Mel Kiper is trying to tell you it's Anthony Richardson. Now, I'm very much against that possibility. But can't see, I could see the Seahawks picking, but at 20, definitely not that 5 hole.
No, he'll be maybe mid-first round, I doubt it, but most likely late first-round pick.
So, let me chug this beer, and then we got some Geno shots to get to.
We do have some Geno shots. Tyler, I'm going to actually go get myself a shot glass for myself.
I got one for you.
Look
I was
at this
looking out
man,
for you, buddy.
Tyler Jones. He's incredible. Hit that sub button for Tyler. He's always looking out.
Sub for Seahawks dubs.
Look at how cute these mini boot shot glasses are, too.
We say during the season that when we drink, the Seahawks score. Let's get a head start,
Let's just start drinking for next year, Tyler.
Let's get the Seahawks going so they get next year on the right foot.
Let's do it. Thank you very much,
Let's have a drink.
sir.
Let's enjoy ourselves. $45 from Pablo before we even really began things here.
Guys, when Tyler and I work together, it's just like dropping a match on gasoline.
All
it's
hell
just
breaks
fired.
loose.
We're trying to have a show with you guys today.
Pablo says, thank you so, Tyler. No, thank you, Pablo.
Yeah, thank you, Pablo. Don't be thanking us.
Everybody spam Pablo in the chat. $45 super chat.
Cheers to Pablo.
Cheers to Pablo. Hell of a start to the show. Tyler looks like he's a fun guy to drink with.
He does.
Seeps drinks with me a lot, actually.
Yeah, Tyler and I, we're gonna do some damage this weekend too. So,
yeah.
Hey, get those questions.
You got a big. You wanted. I said this before the show.
Yeah.
I said I would allow Seeps to do this. I know that we got a lot of Gonzaga fans here, but would you like to convince the 12s why they should root for your alma mater, Xavier, this week?
I don't listen. So if we're talking March Madness, Sweet 16's coming this weekend. Gets going tomorrow. Xavier plays Texas on Friday. If I could just get maybe 10 of these Seattle Seahawks fans cheer on the X. You don't got to root for them against Gonzaga, but when they play Texas Friday night, throw up those X's no matter where you're at.
Big East guy.
Big East guys. Big East guys.
We'll see if the chat gets on board with you and roots on. Oh, Ducky!
Oh, Ducky!
Ducky with a $20 super chat.
Good name.
Ducky. I love that name, Ducky. Are you an Oregon fan? You have to be with the name Ducky, right?
Has to be. Has to be an Oregon guy.
$20 super chat from Ducky. After seeing Pete and everybody at C.J. Stroud's Pro Day, would trading up be worth it for us?
Good question.
That is a very good question. I like C.J. Stroud myself, but I don't like the idea of trading up, if that makes sense. You have Geno Smith for this year. He's on a 3-year deal. After this year, it's kind of year to year at this point. Beyond this year, it's not really that much guaranteed going forward. If C.J. Stroud is there at 5, if he slips, I'm not opposed to that, of making that selection. But trading up, unless you fall in love with him, and maybe Pete Carroll and company just absolutely love what they see from C.J. Stroud, unless you're 100% without a shadow of a doubt convinced, I don't think you trade up for him. Plus, I think Carolina's going to take him at 1 anyway.
Yeah.
With that said, I think for Seattle, because you have Geno coming back off a Pro Bowl year and everything that goes with that, next year's class of quarterbacks, I've said this before, Seeps, I'll say it again. Caleb Williams, Drake May, Quinn Ewers, just to name a few. Next year's class, this year's class wasn't bad. It was a lot better than last year's. But next year's class is a whole lot better. If you're Seattle and you wanted one of those quarterbacks next year, go ahead and trade down from 5. Then you get the collective pick for next year's draft, in addition to what you already have. And then maybe next year you could trade those 2 picks up and find your way to get a Caleb Williams or a Drake May or something like that. So, CJ, if he's there at 5, I'm all ears, but I'm probably not trading up for CJ.
I like that take. And plus, Caleb Williams, Drake May, they will be the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft.
Yes.
By far. Those
Either
two,
one of them.
They are studs. They're no doubters, franchise quarterbacks, in my opinion.
Yeah. So that $20 super chat, that's 2 different beer cheers that we owe.
Cheers.
This one, the first beer cheers for Ducky. Ducky, this $20 super chat. Hell of a way to start. Pablo and Ducky getting this thing on the road. Ducky, for you and some of the Oregon Ducks fans out there, I think Kaylee's a Duck fan, Stoney as well, some of the others feeling Ducky out there.
Go Ducks.
Go Ducks. Go Phil Knight.
Go Phil
Maybe
Knight.
future Seahawks owner Phil Knight, potentially. That's not like any inside scoop or anything. Maybe so.
We're just speculating.
We're just speculating. Cheers to Ducky.
Cheers to Ducky and Pablo.
Now, my next cheers is going to be to who this show is about today, who we're focusing our attention on. That is Bobby Wagner.
Okay.
I think before we get into the segment and everything, Seeps, I think it's very evident that almost all of us sitting here have come here because we want to see Bobby Wagner back in a Seahawks uniform. We want to see 54 come back to life.
Yes.
45 didn't feel right in Los Angeles. It didn't seem like it was
for
meant
the
to be.
division rival? That's disgusting.
Now we want him to come back. The Seahawks have a need at linebacker.
Yep.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a Seahawk through and through. This one, Bobby, come home.
Shout
Cheers.
out to Robert Wagner.
To Robert Wagner.
Bring him home, Pete. Bring him home.
So there's the Super Chat menu. We're at 35 likes right now. I got 172 people watching right now. Let's do this, Seeps. I don't think this is asking too much.
No.
If we get to 50 likes,
that's easy.
Then I'm taking a shot and we're starting this show.
Oh, Tyler, I say 55 likes.
55.
20 more likes. We got 170 people watching.
175 people watching. I need 20 of you to spam that like button.
Come on. Who's got us? Who's going to help us out?
This is just the build-up portion of the show. We haven't even really fully started this thing yet.
Because we had Pablo and Ducky just dropping bombs.
Yeah. Bang! Just like that. So when we get to 55 likes, we will start the show, and I'll take a shot, and we'll get this thing rocking and rolling here on
5 likes away.
5 likes away.
54 likes for Bobby.
54
Peter,
for Bobby.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I like it,
Hell
Peter.
Yeah.
I like
Hell
it.
Yeah. In fact, I'm so confident. There it is.
There it is. Let's go.
Let's start pouring up.
Shout out
you
to
want
the
a drink
12s.
too, Seeps?
Yeah, pour me up one time.
Okay.
Let's have a freaking day.
Let's do this for the 12s.
Do it for the 12s.
For the 12s.
Thank
Let's
you very
enjoy
much.
ourselves.
We're just trying to listen. It's just guys talking football. That's
Right?
what we do
just
here.
Guys
at
being
Seahawks.
guys.
Just guys being dudes. There we go.
Bros being bros. Let's
Cheers
enjoy
to you
ourselves
guys.
today. Cheers to the 12s out there.
And Bobby.
And Bobby. Drink it up.
Tyler, what do we have coming up on today's show?
On today's show, we have the latest news and rumors. K.J. Wright recruiting Bobby Wagner to Seattle. We'll tell you what he had to say to Bobby, the recruiting pitch, and what he would mean to the Seattle Seahawks. We'll go over all of that coming up in just a moment. Also, we will do not one, but 2 Q&A mailbags today. If you want on the mailbags, use the hashtag Seahawks, or you can super chat. And if you super chat, you get to the front of the line. You're not guaranteed, Seeps, to get on the mailbag if you don't super chat.
Tyler, I will say, it was a little, we forgot about Kaylee in the chat. We said only guys talking football. We got guys and gals talking ball.
Oh, yeah.
It's guys and gals.
Kaylee's here. We love Kaylee. Kaylee's one of the, Kaylee could be one of the bros, though. Oh, yeah. Kaylee can hang. Thank you, Kaylee. Glad you're here. And we also have our 3rd Seahawks Mock Draft. This is the first one since the Panthers moved up to the number 1 pick. So I feel like almost, Seeps, we're kind of starting over, essentially. So we'll have that covered. I like the comment from Stoney. Give Bobby his own offense? Yeah, because that really worked out for somebody in Denver. No, we're not doing that. We're no one gets their own offense in Seattle. Not how Pete Carroll rolls. But that's what's coming up on today's show. Glad to have you with us here on Seahawks Today. Let's go ahead and get this party started with the latest Seahawks news and rumors. We're talking K.J. Wright. We're talking Bobby Wagner coming up next. Seeps, we all set? Good to go? All right, let's get after it. Welcome in to Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we have the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors as we'll be discussing the possibility of Bobby Wagner coming back to Seattle and the recruiting pitch from K.J. Wright to bring Bobby back. What does that situation look like? We'll dissect all of that and more coming up in just a few moments from right now. Before we do, with the moves the Seahawks have made already, before even Bobby Wagner potentially comes back, Draymond Jones is here, Devin Bush, Julian Love. We know about all the draft picks the Seahawks have coming up. It is an exciting offseason for a team that made the playoffs a year ago. If you think the Seahawks will be a playoff team again, then I need you to like today's video. 12, stand up, get loud, get proud. If you love your Seattle Seahawks, if you believe in this team, that they're heading the right direction, that they'll be back in the postseason again, go ahead and smash that like button. Give it a little tickle, and we'll get started with today's show. K.J. Wright speaks out. The former Seattle Seahawks linebacker and teammate of Bobby Wagner was on local radio in Seattle this week and had a recruiting pitch of sorts for Bobby Wagner to make his return to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, remember, K.J. Wright, of course, he ended up finishing his NFL career there with the Las Vegas Raiders, but then came back to the Seahawks organization and has been in a non-football role of some sorts, nothing on the field, but still active within the organization, right? And they're trying to find some more ways to use K.J. Wright. He's essentially a part of the ordeal, but maybe not necessarily employee, but have to think that K.J. Wright is still a very important voice when it comes to the Seahawks organization. And he said, look, the Seahawks need to sign Bobby Wagner. Here's what KJ had to say on Seattle 710 Sports. When asked about his grade for the free agency period, he said, I'm going to give them a B-. We're missing a linebacker and a right guard, and we're still missing a third receiver. I mean, there are so many guys to add to this puzzle. I need Geno to have more weapons. I need for Geno to have a guy that can isolate against linebackers, isolate against that nickel corner, and make plays on those third downs. I need a linebacker. In particular, I need Bobby to come back. I need the walking Hall of Famer, Bobby Wagner, to come back to the Seahawks. He is still playing at a very high level. Over 130 tackles last year, 6 sacks, interceptions. The fan base wants it. His teammates want it. It only makes sense to sign him back, to let him finish his career as a Seattle Seahawk. So you bring him back here, help with this run defense, help groom and develop these guys. Now, I think KJ makes a lot of sense on both Bobby and where Seattle is as a team right now. He's absolutely right. Bobby Wagner would be a huge asset for the Seattle Seahawks team and also what they're looking for. I think KJ might have a future, if he wants to, as a TV commentator or analyst, because he's exactly right. That's what the Seahawks need, or those specific things that he laid out. And yes, I understand that the Seahawks, their cap space is kind of limited now with what they've already spent. But if they can free up some cap space, if they can adjust some things, if they can push off some money towards next year or something, it makes perfect sense to bring Bobby Wagner back. You have a major need at that position. Cody Barton's gone. Jordan Brooks, we don't know when he's going to return. Bobby Wagner is that dude. KJ Wright is 100% right on that. We'll dissect more on what KJ had to say here in just a second. But first, let's ask you the same thing that KJ Wright pointed to. Do the Seahawks need to add Bobby Wagner? It's not should they or will they. Do they need to add Bobby Wagner? I say yes. Let me know what you think. Y for yes, in for no. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Y for yes, in for no. Do the Seahawks need to add Bobby Wagner? Let us know in the comment section below. Let's go over the numbers for you on Bobby Wagner. And I got to tell you that they're still very impressive, right? Even going to Los Angeles last year and going to a different defensive scheme and everything like that, he still was one of the best linebackers in the National Football League last year with 140 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 5 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. You go back to what he did in Seattle back in 2021. That was a great year. 170 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 5 pass breakups, and 1 interception. Even as he's gotten older, he's still continuing to play at a very high level. With that, if they can't get Bobby, what are some of their other options at inside linebacker potentially for this Seattle Seahawks team? Let's roll through the other free agents. If they can't bring in Bobby, if he decides to play elsewhere, if they can't afford him, here's some of the other names to watch. You got Anthony Walker from the Cleveland Browns. He's a possibility. There's also Jalen Smith from the New York Football Giants is a name that's out there to watch. Also, Jayon Brown of the Las Vegas Raiders is a name to keep in mind, as is Zach Cunningham from Tennessee. And remember, you already brought in Devin Bush. Maybe you consider his teammates from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Miles Jack, potentially, and bring them together to the Seattle Seahawks from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those are other possibilities. But as you can see, of those 5 guys there, Bobby is far and away better than any of those 5 names, with that said. I'll say this. I understand why K.J. gave Seattle a B- for his grade for what they've done so far to this point. But here's one thing that K.J. did not mention is that some of these needs that need to be addressed, that the Seahawks are going to change and better their roster, are going to be covered through the NFL draft. And remember, that is still the priority here. The Seahawks' future and what they're investing in the future, the championships are going to be won in April, not what you've done in March. I've said that over again. I'll say it time and time again. And for this Seattle Seahawks team, you've done really good in free agency. You'd like to have Bobby. You'd like to make some of these moves, but there's only so much you can do. The number one priority for Seattle is still and will always be the draft. And so while it might feel kind of incomplete, like K.J. Wright was talking about there, don't forget of what this draft could mean for the Seattle Seahawks team at some of those positions of need. Grade the Seahawks free agency moves so far. A, B, C, D, or F. What do you think of what the Seahawks have done to this point? K.J. Wright gave it a B-. What do you think? Is that fair? Is that what you're thinking, or would you do a little bit better or a little bit worse? Grade it for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section below. Folks, it has been a crazy couple of days here on the channel as we've been talking about your Seattle Seahawks with all these moves they've been making. When they've made a major move, we've gone live and we've covered it here on the channel. And if they make more big moves, we're going to stop what we're doing. We're going to go live. We're also live every Wednesday as is, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We're getting you ready for the draft. We're talking trades and more as well. This is the place for the 12s. You better subscribe. Turn on notifications. If you're a real one and really believe in this Seattle Seahawks team and a member of the 12s, you got to subscribe today. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. So let's go over the other positions of need that K.J. Wright had talked about. The offensive guard spot. Dalton Reisner is a possibility from the Denver Broncos. I think he's kind of flown under the radar personally. I'm surprised he's still around. David Edwards from the Los Angeles Rams is also another possibility, as is Roger Saffold of Buffalo. Now, I understand Roger is not young. He's no spring chicken at this point, but he's had a pretty decent career. Then we got Justin Pug from the Arizona Cardinals, who's been in the division the last couple of years, obviously. And then A.J. Khan from the Houston Texans is also another possibility at the offensive guard spot for the Seattle Seahawks. You move to the wide receiver position. And obviously, Marquise Goodwin in-house is an option, but here's some of the other names to watch. And we've seen some movement today already at this wide receiver position. DJ Chark is a possibility, although he might be looking to be more so a wide receiver 1 or a 2, maybe not a 3, but at least he's one of the top receivers out there at this point. You got Richie James from the New York Giants. He's also up there, as is DeMarcus Robinson from Baltimore. D-Rob, you go back to his days in Kansas City, a huge, deep threat. That's what he does best. That could add a whole nother element to this Seahawks offense. And I think people tend to forget, Geno was very accurate with the deep ball, stretching the field last year. D-Rob could be a sneaky good addition potentially. Jarvis Landry did not play much at all last year for the New Orleans Saints, but still is considered one of the better wideouts in the National Football League if he's healthy. And then there's Nelson Aguilar. Probably not coming back to the New England Patriots with the money they paid Juju Smith-Schuster, but he has continued to prove people wrong throughout his career. So we'll see what the Seahawks decide to do, if they go with one of those guys or maybe they draft at the receiver position, but we'll see. Name a player the Seahawks should sign. Who comes to mind? Whether it's somebody we talked about, maybe it's Bobby Wagner, maybe it's somebody else. Let me know in the comment section who you'd like to see in a Seahawks uniform coming up in 2023. As always, you can interact with me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. That's where you can find me there, and I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right, so that is one segment down. We got 3 more to go. Let me know in the comment section who's a player you think the Seahawks should sign. Sheep says I bring you back in here. And you saw the comments from K.J. right there. What to think about what K.J. had to say? There was a lot of truth in that.
I think there's good points, but I also think, Tyler, you made a good point. The Seahawks have 2 top 10 picks, right?
Right.
5 and
10?
10?
5 and 20.
5 and 20, yes. You got 2 top 20 picks. And
you got 4 picks in the top 2 rounds.
You're going to fill some of those needs. You can go get a wide receiver at 20 that can easily be your wide receiver 3. You can even go get, I saw somebody mention in the chat, Osiris Torrance, if you need that interior offensive line.
He's kind of slipped on boards a little bit as of late.
A little bit, but if you want to really go get position or draft for needs, I think he would be a good addition. But
yeah.
I thought he made good points though, but he does have a really good point. Bobby Wagner, he needs to come back to Seattle, Tyler.
He does. Let's see, who else is in the chat? I see somebody says sign Patrick Mahomes. That's not happening. Can tell you that right now. Nick says Puna Ford. Puna's gone. He's not coming back. Let's see. Leonard Fournette, is he available? I don't know how much Leonard Fournette has left in the tank at this point. Peter says you got to go with Jalen Hyatt in the 2nd round. Jalen Hyatt, I like a lot.
I like Jalen Hyatt. That would be a good 2nd-round pick. That would be an elite.
I don't like him as a 1st-round receiver.
Me either, but that would be an elite 3 next to DK and Tyler.
Let's see here. Let's see. Our girl Kaylee, who we said is a bro now,
she is.
Says Zeke. Zeke is still good in short yardage, but he has no speed left.
No, he does not.
Oh!
Super chat.
Super chat coming in from Daniel. 50 and SEK. I don't know what that is.
I will look that up.
But thank you.
Appreciate it.
Let's see.
It is Swedish.
Swedish money.
Wow.
That's a first. I don't think we've ever gotten anything from Sweden on the channel before. Daniel, thanks for sending in the 50 from Sweden. That puts us at $69. Nice. Should Seattle restructure more contracts to create cap space? Are they always super quiet on the front compared to other teams, and is it good or bad? Yes, you should restructure a bit. I think that every team needs to restructure as much as they can to try to maximize the money they have and take advantage that way and try to see if you can, whether it's the money for a guy like Bobby Wagner we talked about or others here, any way you can maximize and try to spend some money elsewhere, restructuring, yes, absolutely you should. One guy, I want to even roll this out potentially on a restructure. 2 players in particular, your top wide receivers, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. If, Tyler Lockett's contract is very strange. I know that much. DK, he's on that new deal, but we've seen guys that even after they got their new deals worked a restructure in to be able to try to save some money elsewhere, since we know DK is going to be around a long time. So those are guys that come to mind that I could see some restructuring. Yeah. Daniel, so with that, quick math, that was like 20 U.S.?
I think so. I think because 45 plus the 20, 65. Oh, that was $5. That was a 5.
That was a 5 U.S. Okay.
Yes, that was a 5.
Daniel, thanks for that. About 5 U.S. So we'll, you know what? I'll call it a Geno shot.
A Geno shot?
That's a shot for Geno.
We can do a Geno shot.
We can do a Geno shot for that. Thanks for sending that in. And a shout to you. Our friends in Sweden.
Our friends in Sweden. I love saying that.
I do too.
Guys,
I wish we had some Swedish fish. Cheers.
Those are good. We also have a mailbag coming up. We could use some more questions in there. Whatever you want to talk about. Just use hashtag Seahawks. Tyler will give his thoughts on it. If you just use hashtag Seahawks, pulls right to our system, makes my job a lot easier. So help me out.
Help Seeps out. Help us. Help us. And we'll answer your questions coming up in just a bit. Daniel says, appreciate that, guys. Thank you, Daniel, for that super chat. Appreciate that. Let's show him that super chat menu, too, real quick. And then we'll get to our mailbag segment. You can use hashtag Seahawks or super chat to get on the mailbag. $5 US gets you the DK song. $7 will take shots for Gino, the Gino shots. $10 beer cheers, $25 beer chug. $200 will take down a boot. We are around $70 right now, so about $130 away from a boot. Also, if you send in $100, you get a spot on the Boot Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Reflect the Sun, I don't think you're on the new Boot Hall of Fame yet. Some of the others out there. I know that we got Pablo with the 45 that he sent in. He's 55 away from a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. Some of these others, y'all, I would love to induct some new Boot Hall of Fame members today. $100 US gets you a spot on the Boot Hall of Fame, and let's see you join the 12s. Basically, and when we take down a boot, we're drinking 3 beers at one. We try to drink this as fast as humanly possible.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we crush it when we do these things. And so if you send in $100, get a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame, every time we drink out of the boot, you drink it as quickly as possible, and you drink with us. Reflect the Sun, you were on the last boot. We have a new boot since the last time you earned a spot on the Boot Hall of Fame. That one filled up. It's on Mark Sanchez's mantle now. Reflect the Sun, you need to be part of the new boot. This has been just for the offseason, since the offseason started, and we're already making good progress. So we'll see who wants to join the Boot Hall of Fame today. All right, next up, mailbag time. Send in your questions using hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag. Seeps, we all set? We good to go?
Ready to go.
All right, let's get started. Mailbag time here on Seahawks Today. It is time for another mailbag edition of Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we will answer your questions. This comes from our live show that we do on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And if you've never been a part of our live shows before, you need to be. So here's what I need you to do. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And whether we go live for our normal shows on Wednesdays or if the Seahawks make a big signing or trade, we'll go live as well. And so when you turn on notifications and subscribe to the channel, you'll be the first to know when we're doing these live shows and doing these mailbags and be a part of it. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe for free. Be a part of this movement that we call Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Doesn't cost you a thing. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe today, and we'll get started with today's show. Bang! A $45 super chat from Pablo. Do you think the Seahawks draft Kancey at 5 or 20? Pablo, thank you, my guy, for the $45 super chat. With that, Kancey, you don't draft at 5. I think that would be a reach. He doesn't seem like he has the measurables quite to be the number 5 selection based on the way the boards are going. 20, that is certainly possible. That makes sense for the Seahawks potentially to draft him with that number 20 selection. So that, to me, makes sense potentially there at 20. I could see Seattle pulling that off. But as far as the number 5 pick goes, that would be a bit of a reach there. But he's a very talented player, and I think the Seahawks would love to have him as far as I'm concerned. Pablo, thanks for that $45 super chat there. Ducky! I assume Ducky's an Oregon Ducks fan, right? Ducky, thanks for the $20 super chat. And Ducky writes in, after seeing Pete and everybody at C.J. Stroud's Pro Day, would trading up be worth it for us? So here's the deal. I think that when you look at this draft, now that Carolina has moved up to the number 1 spot and the Texans hold the number 2 pick, you are going to see Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud taken at number 1 overall. And then the other one is going to be taken at number 2 overall. So if you're going to get either C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, you're going to have to pick out 1 or 2. I highly doubt that either one of them is going to fall to the number 5 position, okay? I'd be open to picking either one of them at 5, quite frankly. But the asking price is going to be a lot to move up to 1 or 2. I'll put it this way. Pete Carroll and John Schneider would have to fall in love with C.J. Stroud. If you're convinced, if you're sold on C.J. Stroud, okay, I understand. But if you're not, if you have any skepticism whatsoever, no, I can't do that. Thanks, Ducky. Seattle writes, Seattle Dan, is Jalen Carter off the Seahawks draft board with the recent news? So let's catch up to speed on that, by the way, with Jalen Carter. You had the situation, of course, down in Georgia with the arrest and all that ordeal. That was unfortunate. And that's still being looked at, of course. And then he had a really bad pro day where he couldn't finish drills, gained like 9 pounds of weight and all that, and questions about if his head, if his mental space was in the right place. With that said, no. Unless told otherwise, Jalen Carter, I think that the tape speaks for itself, the talent level, what he's able to do. He's going through a rough time right now. No question about it. This is a challenging point in his time. But, with that said, I think this is a period where you talk to him, you see where his headspace is at, and, you hope that he can overcome those things. I think that you still take him at 5 if he's still around and still available for you. Unless there's some new developments on this arrest at the moment, I don't think that you take him out of the equation. I still like Jalen Carter potentially at that number 5 spot if he's there. Should the Seahawks draft Jalen Carter? Are you out on Jalen Carter? Let me know. Y for yes, in for no. What do you think about the possibility of drafting Jalen Carter? Y for yes, in for no. Bang! A $50 super chat. Bubble Boy 2017, we'll pay this off here in just a second. If you're watching on the live show, stay tuned. We'll pay this off in just a bit, so don't worry about that. But as far as our mailbag segment goes, let's answer this question from Bubble Boy 2017. Bubble Boy, I don't know if I've seen you here on the show. Welcome, Bubble Boy. What a way to make an entrance here. Hashtag Seahawks, if you were Pete and company, who would you take at 5 and 20? Well, I'm glad you asked. So we have a mock draft that is on the channel this week. Mock Draft 3.0 for your Seattle Seahawks. And Jalen Carter, I still think sounds great for Seattle at 5 if he's around. And then at 20, I know that some people will say that this wasn't the highest priority for Seattle with the needs that they had on this team. But now that you've gotten Draymond Jones in free agency, if you take care of the defensive tackle spot with Jalen Carter with that number 5 pick, all of a sudden you don't have to use the 20 pick on an edge rusher. You got some flexibility. I know that everybody's talked about defense and spending picks on defense and everything like that. I get that. What about a receiver at 20? What if Jaxson Smith-Njigba, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnston, Zay Flowers, one of these guys are still there. And you know that Tyler Lockett is getting older and already had some serious injuries for the first time in his career this past season. You got DK there. You have a hole at the number 3 spot. Can I interest you in drafting a receiver at 20 potentially? Does that sound intriguing? Because it sure does to me. That's what I'd be looking at if I'm Seattle. But Bubble Boy, thanks for the super chat. We'll pay that off here in a bit. Raw Hector, hashtag Seahawks. Do we have the best safety room in the NFL? Not quite, actually. I think that answer belongs to the Baltimore Ravens, who have Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton and Geno Stone. They got a really good group there in Baltimore. I think that's probably the best safety room in the NFL. But even with that said, you look at what the Seahawks have. Jamal Adams, if he can stay healthy, is still a really good safety. I think, obviously, Quandre Diggs is fantastic. He got off to a strong finish to last year. Julian Love, whether you play him at nickelback or whether he starts, is going to be fantastic too. Watch out for what he can bring to the table. He's going to be a really good player. And then, of course, Ryan Neal as well, who's rated as the best safety by Pro Football Focus this past year. You got a lot of options, a lot of good players there. I don't think it's the very best, but it's S tier, put it that way. One of the top safety rooms in the NFL? Thanks for that $20 for that question there, Hector. We are offering Seahawks hoodies on sale now. Chatsports.com/Seahawks hoodie, up to 50% off. Whether you want to get the dark-colored ones, the blues, or the grays, the whites, whatever you're feeling, whatever your vibe is, we got you covered. And these are on sale now while supplies last. It's a great deal. Up to 50% off. What are you waiting for? Get yours today, and you'll be glad you did. It's still, can be a little chilly sometimes. I personally, I'm the type of guy that I like to wear a hoodie with some basketball shorts. I think that's always a solid move, especially this time of year. What are you waiting for? Get yours now, chatsports.com/Seahawks hoodie. There's probably some basketball shorts in there, too, if you want as well. Get yours now, chatsports.com/Seahawks hoodie, up to 50% off. Ducky with a $20 super chat. If you're watching on the live show, we'll pay this off here in just a second, Ducky. Where does Darnell Washington fall, and can we pick him up and still be able to fill the holes? Same with Ringo. Darnell Washington, tight end from the University of Georgia. He was, remember, the backup tight end this past year because you got Brock Bowser there, who was the best tight end in all of college football the last couple seasons. Darnell Washington, I think, is going to be a late first-round pick. I know that Kincaid, the tight end from Utah, is getting some love as well. And then Michael Mayer from Notre Dame. This is a really good tight end class in this draft. Darnell Washington, I understand he's a big fella and a very good blocking tight end. But I have questions as far as him as a receiver goes. So I would personally not draft Darnell Washington as far as I'm concerned. Keely Ringo, I've seen him. It's been weird looking at his draft boards. You've seen him as high as top 20, and then others early on in the draft process had him mocked fall into the third round. So he's one that if he's sitting there in the second round with one of the two picks the Seahawks have there, I'd take a chance on Keely Ringo if he somehow slips there in the second round. I wouldn't use a first-round pick on him. Ducky, thanks for the super chat there. Appreciate it, man. Seahawks for life. What's the expectation for Geno Smith in his second year as a starter? I think if you're Seattle, you would take what you had last year again, and you'd feel great about that. If he takes a step back, then you're a little concerned, right? If he takes a step forward, then you're feeling great. You're cooking with bacon grease at that point. I think if you're Seattle, because we all sit here, we know that Geno's not going to be around forever. If he can kind of steady the ship until Seattle finds their long-term solution at quarterback, if he can just play where he's at, you will gladly take that. I'll take 30 touchdowns and 11 picks again. And with the way you've already bettered this roster, besides what you're going to do in the draft, if he has another 30 touchdown, 11 pick season again, watch out for how many football games you can win this upcoming season. I think the expectation should be do what you did last year again, and the Seahawks would be in good shape. Buy or sell. Geno Smith will have an even better year in 2023 than he did in 2022. Do you buy that? Do you sell that? If you're buying that, type B for buy. If you're selling that, type S for sell. Let me know. Buy or sell, Geno will have an even better year in 2023. Let me know. JVB Games writes, have you seen Nolan Smith in the combine? He's pretty interesting, and he ran a 4.39 40-yard dash, and he is a linebacker. What do you think about him? Nolan Smith actually, edge rusher, but incredible athlete. He was the star of the combine along with Anthony Richardson. The vertical jump he did was just insane. The 40-yard dash, all of that was incredible from Nolan Smith. And he is skyrocketing up draft boards. Here's a possibility potentially. Let me throw this idea out for you guys. What about you get Jalen Carter at 5 and Nolan Smith at 20, and you get those college teammates together? Do I have you intrigued? Does that sound interesting? I think it does. Yeah, I'm very open to the possibility of Nolan Smith. $5 super chat from Roman. Roman, thanks for that. We'll pay that off here in a second as well. What do you think about Tyree Wilson at 5, Osiris Torrance at 20, Trenton Simpson at 37, and Henley at 52? I think that sounds like a win. I think, Roman, that you're onto something there. I think that could be a very good situation for the Seahawks if they were able to pick up those guys there. Cyrus Torrance, he's the one that I think was looked at as a pick for Seattle at 20, and he's kind of fallen off boards a bit. But I go back to the tape, what he did at Florida, making an easy transition from Louisiana Lafayette to being an all-SEC performer. I still think he's very good there. Yeah, that very well could be a good situation for Seattle with those first 4 picks there. Roman, you might be onto something. Thanks for that super chat. Who is your favorite Seahawks free agent signing to this point? It's been a very active offseason for your Seattle Seahawks. Tell me in the comments section who comes to mind of your favorite free agent signing for the Seahawks here this offseason. All right, let's catch up on some of those super chats, shall we? Nick with the buzzer beater, and then I got to pay off some other stuff too.
We do.
Nick with a $10 super chat. I love wide receiver with our second pick in the first, but I don't see it happening. People forget John Schneider came from Green Bay. He never drafted wide receiver in the first, even when we drafted DK and Tyler Lockett. That's a very good point.
That is a good point.
The Green Bay way, it's ultimately why Aaron Rodgers is about to be a Jet.
Hopefully Schneider learned from keep your quarterback happy.
That's a beer cheers to you, Nick.
Shout out to Nick. So,
Gino, I think, would love some receiver help.
I think he would too, especially that third guy that K.J. Wright was talking about. But what do we owe here, Tyler? Because you look at the menu. We had the 50 come in from Bubble Boy. And then we had the 20 come in from Ducky. And then the 5 from Roman, and now the 10 from Nick.
Okay, so I just paid off the 10.
You paid off the 10.
So now we got the 50. We got 2 beer chugs to pay off.
And then 2 shots.
And then 2 shots.
All right, let's pour them up.
Here's the rest of this Miller Lite. I'll chug this.
There we go. Miller Lite and Fireball, the best combo
One down.
in chat sports.
Okay, there's 1 beer down. Here's another beer chug for you. Oh, don't you love that sound?
It's the best sound, especially when it's a Miller.
Miller. A fine Pilsner beer.
Fine Pilsner.
And this one is for Bubble Boy 2017. Seems you were still in like high school in 2017, right?
That was my senior year of high school.
Cheers to you, Bubble Boy.
Got a bunch of young bucks over here, Tyler. Shout out to Bubble Boy.
The Bubble Boy. Everybody spam Bubble Boy in the chat.
Great.
I love it. That's a great username.
What are we gonna cheers these shots to, Tyler?
So this is for Ducky.
Shout out to Ducky.
Shout out to Ducky. Ducky, I'm sorry about your Oregon Ducks losing in the NIT last night.
I didn't even see that.
To Wisconsin.
Really?
At home.
That's bad.
Dana Altman was complaining that there was only 3,000 fans in the building. And I'm like, well, it's an NIT game. What did you expect?
NIT. Come on.
Ducky, here's to better days for the Oregon Ducks.
That's it. Cheers to the Oregon Ducks. Hope
Cheers to the Oregon Ducks and our Oregon Ducks Seahawk fans.
Go Ducks.
Go Ducks. Oh, Bubble Boy, and everybody today. It's been we're off and roll. We're only halfway through. We got 2 more segments to go.
We got to get through the segs, and then we can party with you guys.
Yeah, I'm down to party and have a good time. We are at 155, so we're about 45 away from Das Boot. Also, we got some contenders for the Boot Hall of Fame today. Bubble Boy's at 50. He's halfway to the Boot Hall of Fame. Ducky with that 20 had 20 earlier, right?
Yes.
So Ducky's about 60 away. And then at the top of the show, we had Pablo with the 45 coming in.
He's 55.
So 55.
Couple more bangers, and we got some fellas.
We can induct some Boot Hall of Fame members today, but we need your help. You guys got to throw it out 100. Oh! Bang!
Let's go!
Boot time! Pablo! 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 Oh my gosh! With a 50. He's going to the Boot Hall of Fame. Pablo! Spam Pablo in the chat.
Do we do our boots before or after, Tyler?
Let's do it after.
Do it after? Okay.
Keep the people wanting more.
Yeah, keep them around. You're just going to have to wait.
Pablo, let's get through our segments.
Not yet.
We're going to get through our segments.
Yeah.
But if you...
We'll do the hard drinking after our segments, for then we can just have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get through our segments. And then we'll do these boots and go crazy.
Oh! Ducky! No! 2 people being added.
Pablo!
No!
Ducky!
Ducky with the...
Pablo! Ducky! Pablo! Ducky!
Let's
Unbelievable!
Go,
what a showing today!
Pablo,
what a showing!
Ducky.
Pablo!
Crazy.
Ducky! Going nuts! Boot Hall of Fame! They can never take it away from you.
Oh, and Ducky with
Ducky
the
again!
on the cake.
Ducky again! I tell you, what a performance! This is unbelievable! What a day!
As Charlie's saying, you better not slur through the segments. We're saving it for after, so stick around.
I think this is the Seeps effect.
It might be, Tyler.
What Seeps said when he showed up today,
hey.
When I'm here on Seahawks, it gets crazy.
Oh, I told you, when Tyler and I work together, it's automatically a good time.
I mean, we're like Jordan and Pippen.
It is like Jordan and Pippen. It's like D-Wade. I'm throwing it behind my back. Tyler's LeBron coming in with the oop. Here we go.
So, Pablo and Ducky, welcome to the Boot Hall of Fame. This is the highest honor in all of chat sports.
This is the highest honor, honestly, in America.
In America. They can never take it away from you. You're never That's insane. What is happening?
All right.
What is happening?
Oh! That random video
$200
guy.
super chat. What is going on today, folks?
I don't know. It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over. Crowd him. Crowd him.
Shout out to that random video
That
guy.
random video guy.
Shout out.
There's nothing random about you. You're the best video guy.
Shout out to that random video guy. Let's go.
Insane. Insane performance.
What a start.
What a day.
What a start.
Pablo. Ducky.
Hey, we'll answer all these questions too in the final
That
mailbag.
random video guy, you got 2 spots in the Boot Hall of Fame.
Hell yeah.
And it was just a simple question. What about Hendon Hooker?
I know. Just he drops a bomb like that for just a
That means we got 2 boots coming.
We do have 2 boots coming.
So I'll do one. Are you down for a boot today?
I got a boot in me.
Seeps has got a boot in him.
You guys are going to have to stick around. Should we just go – do we just have to go back-to-back on these segs and then we'll party with you guys?
Let's get the segs out of the way.
And then we can turn
And then
this
we're
into
drinking.
a party.
We're turning up. We're having a great time.
Yes.
We're doing the Boot Hall of Fame inductions right now, though.
Yes. The highest honor.
I'm going to put on this 98 for that random video guy 98. So we could talk as much Hendon Hooker as you want with that.
The Seahawks better draft Hendon Hooker.
I feel like Hendon Hooker needs to be on this, too. We're putting HH for Hendon Hooker, too.
All right. I like that.
So Hendon Hooker tore his ACL.
Yes.
He's 25 years old.
Yes.
He was having a very good season. Probably would have won the Heisman before he got hurt.
He was in the conversation.
I like Hendon Hooker a lot. I am okay with him day 3. You already brought back Drew Lock and Geno Smith.
Yep.
He can get healthy, take like a red shirt year of some sorts.
True.
See what you got in him, and then go from there. I would not spend higher than at the earliest I would consider would be a 4th round pick.
Yeah, and I think he'll probably go 2nd or 3rd. I think a team would take a chance on him, but man, that random video guy.
Random video guy, welcome to the Boot Hall of Fame.
Show it off, Tyler.
There it is. There it is. Spam 98 in the chat. There we go. There we go. And then another one. This one, what a moment this is for Ducky. Let's induct Ducky next. Ducky, I am so proud of you, Ducky. You're my favorite Duck. This is for all the Oregon Duck fans out there. Ducky is the leader of all of them. Ducky, congrats to you. You are now a member of the Boot Hall of Fame. Ducky! Ducky. Now Pablo. Pablo is an OG. Has been around Seahawks Today for a long time and deserves all the good things that go Pablo's way. Pablo, you are an incredible individual, and I am happy to have you a part of the Seahawks Today family. Pablo, welcome to the Boot Hall of Fame. 3 new members on the Boot Hall of Fame.
What a start.
We're going to get through our segments.
Yeah, because I want to party with them, Tyler.
We're going to have a good time. We're going to get through our segments, and then when we get through our segments, we're taking down not 1 but 2 boots today.
We couldn't even race these pieces.
Yeah.
We could do that.
This is unbelievable.
We got a mock draft and a mailbag, and then we'll pair.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be hammered through the segments. But after we get through the segments, we can be as hammered as we want to be. So let's get through the segments, shall we? Let me get my notes ready. And all right, I am good to go. Seeps, are you ready? Seahawks Mock Draft. Let's get after it, shall we? Welcome in to Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. Coming up on today's show, it is Mock Draft 3.0 for your Seattle Seahawks. It's our first mock draft since the Panthers traded up to the number 1 pick, which changes a few things. Also, it is our first mock draft since free agency started, so that also changes a few things as well. We will reveal our picks for the Seahawks coming up in just a few moments from right now. Before we do, if you want more Seattle Seahawks videos each and every day, then subscribe to the channel and don't forget to turn on your notifications as well. We are posting daily updates on your Seattle Seahawks. If they make a major signing, we'll go live. We'll break it down. We got you covered. This is the place to be for the 12. Subscribe now, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Never miss a moment, and we'll get started with today's show. So here's how we did this mock draft. We went into the Pro Football Focus simulator, and I customized the settings to make sure that we were able to maximize on how realistic this draft could be, right? To do things that way. And so also with this in mind, we went through all 7 rounds in this simulator. No trades today, but we want to go through this piece by piece of what these picks could be for Seattle. So I play the role as John Schneider. PFF picks all 31 other teams, and then I make the picks for Seattle. So with that, let's go ahead and show you the first 4 picks. Here's who goes off the board first. The Panthers go quarterback Bryce Young out of Alabama. Texans go quarterback as well. They go with C.J. Stroud there from Ohio State. The Cardinals at the number 3 pick, they go with Will Anderson, edge rusher from Alabama as well. So you have 2 of the top 3 picks are from Alabama. And then at 4, the Indianapolis Colts, they go with Will Levis from Kentucky with that 4th pick. So now the Seahawks at 5. Here's what the Seahawks are looking at this point. The best available right now at the number 5 pick. Jalen Carter is still there, and I know there's some questions about the events that have unfolded the last couple of weeks with his stock slipping. Is he still worth taking potentially at 5 if you're Seattle? Anthony Richardson. Mel Kiper is projecting the Seahawks to pick Anthony Richardson in his latest mock draft at 5. You got Devin Witherspoon from the Illinois Fighting Illini at corner is still available. Tyree Wilson, who we've talked a lot about on this channel, is an option there as well at edge rusher. And then Quentin Johnston at receiver from TCU is also an option there. Ultimately, my decision at 5 as John Schneider for the day, I'm not passing on Jalen Carter. I understand that there's some character concerns, and maybe the combine or the pro day didn't go so great for Jalen Carter. But you can't deny what's on tape. And what's on tape is one of the best players in all of college football, one of the best seasons that we've ever seen in the SEC this past year. Number 1 defensive tackle, number 1 player on Mel Kiper's big board, a unanimous All-American, first-team All-SEC performer. You already brought in Draymond Jones. You bring in Jalen Carter into the fold here. I think you are feeling great if you're Seattle, and you're there for Jalen Carter. You say, hey, we're going to work through some of these things you're going through and put you in the best position to succeed. I love this idea. Let's go ahead and get Jalen Carter to Seattle with that number 5 pick if he's still around. So, should the Seahawks draft Jalen Carter? If he's still there, do you like the possibility of the Seahawks taking him with that number 5 pick? Let me know. This is our pinned comment today. Y for yes, N for no. Should the Seahawks draft Jalen Carter or not? You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Y for yes, N for no if the Seahawks should draft Jalen Carter or not. So we've already taken care of Jalen Carter with the number 5 pick. Now let's move on to the number 20 pick. Here's the last 4 picks leading up to it. The Commanders, they go with Brian Branch from Alabama, the defensive back and safety, gets that spot. 17, the Steelers go corner with Deonte Banks from Maryland. Then Cansey, the defensive lineman from Pitt, he goes to the Lions at 18. 19, the Bucs take Dalton Kincaid, the tight end from Utah, with that selection, a weapon for Baker Mayfield there. So now, where does that leave the Seahawks with the 20th pick? Who is still around? Well, we got BB, Big Brian from Clemson at the defensive line. Also Nolan Smith, who had a heck of a combine available at the edge rusher position from Georgia. Miles Murphy, the edge rusher from Clemson, he's available, as is Zay Flowers and Jordan Addison at the wide receiver spot. Now, before I reveal this pick, think about this. Before free agency, we would have sat here and said, you got to get defensive tackle and you got to get edge rusher. Now you have Draymond Jones. You don't necessarily have to take edge rusher right away. With that said, I'm getting Geno Smith a weapon. I'm going offense. I'm going Jordan Addison with the 20th pick. Pete Carroll, a USC guy, goes SC and gets Jordan Addison, who might be just as good as any wide receiver in this draft. Mel Kiper has him number 3 on his big board right now among wide receivers, the number 22 overall player. But you look back at what he did at Pitt. He was fantastic there, winning the Biletnikoff, becoming a first-team All-American. This past year, he didn't play in as many games as he did his previous season at Pitt. But look what he did this past year, even with a less number of games. Still had 59 catches, 875 yards. Remember, he was sharing receptions with Mike Williams there at USC, another good receiver. But when he was the guy there at Pitt, when he won the Biletnikoff, when Kenny Pickett was throwing in passes, he had nearly 1,600 yards, 17 touchdowns. He is that dude, and as a possession receiver, you can put him in the slot. You still do your thing with DK and Tyler Lockett. Jordan Addison seems like a natural fit as your number 3 guy. I love the idea of taking Jordan Addison here. I know that not everybody agrees with that, but hey, that's why they pay me the money I make to make these decisions as John Schneider for the day. Do you agree with this idea of drafting Jordan Addison at 20? Let me know. S for sign, P for pass. What do you think of the idea? Do you make this move and draft Jordan Addison? Let me know in the comments section if you want Jordan Addison or not with that 20th pick. We are offering some great hoodies for your Seattle Seahawks, and whether you want to wear the blue or you want to wear some of the lighter colors, this is the perfect time of year to be wearing a hoodie, folks, and to be supporting your Seattle Seahawks. What are you waiting for? Go ahead and get yours today. Chatsports.com/Seahawks hoodie. Hoodies up to 50% off. Wall supplies last. I got to tell you, you'll be looking great wearing these Seahawk hoodies. What are you waiting for? Get yours now. Chatsports.com/Seahawks hoodies. Hoodies up to 50% off. Perfect time of year to be wearing your Seahawks gear and to be dressing a little bit warm as well. We got you covered. Chatsports.com/Seahawks hoodie. Let's move to the second round now, and we're going corner, taking care of another position of need with the 37th selection, going with Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State. He's the number 4 corner on Mel's big board, 23 player overall, and a lot of people are looking at Emmanuel Forbes as a first-round talent. So the fact that we got him in the second round is a steal, and I think you're very pleased with bringing Emmanuel Forbes to the table. He's not the biggest guy by any means, but the talent speaks for itself. Consensus All-American, first-team All-SEC guy. Watch out, Emmanuel Forbes would be a sneaky good find in the second round. Then we're moving to our other second-round pick. We're going center with Luke Weipler from The Ohio State. Now, we might have some flexibility potentially to play him at guard as well. That's what makes this intriguing. Yes, he played center, but you might be able to move him to guard. Evan Brown, who is supposed to be your starting center right now, he might be one you could slide to guard as well. So maybe you make things work that way. But here's the thing with Luke here. Started 19 games at Ohio State the last 2 seasons. And last year, he had 860 snaps. That's a lot of football that Luke played at Ohio State over this past season. 3rd team All-Big Ten, number 2 center on Mel Kiper's big board. Watch out. I think you're feeling pretty good, and you can find a way to get Luke Weipler some playing time immediately as far as I'm concerned, whether he's your center or your guard, either one. Name a player the Seahawks should draft this year, whether it's somebody we've talked about on today's show or somebody we haven't talked about. Let me know who you would like to see in a Seahawks uniform in 2023. Who should they draft next month? Let us know in the comment section who comes to mind. Next up, let's go to the 3rd round. That's where we find Tulane linebacker Dorian Williams with the 83rd overall selection. And I got to tell you, Dorian Williams is just a dog. Let me get some numbers for you, courtesy of Pro Football Focus here, folks. Overall grade, outstanding, 83.3. Excellent in pass rush and in coverage. Solid in run defense. Even if the Seahawks, make some moves at the linebacker position in free agency. A certain linebacker, I don't even have to tell you who. Dorian Williams sitting behind some veterans. I think he can learn a lot, and he could get some playing time pretty quickly. Dorian Williams, I think, would be a very good fit for Seattle as far as I'm concerned. You need a running back, too, behind Kenneth Walker, right? And I know we've talked about some veterans potentially, but what have I been very consistent on in this show? The best thing you could do is go day 3 at running back. That's where we find Sean Tucker in the 4th round at 123 from Syracuse University. In the scouting report on him, you'll like this, folks. Shades of Jonathan Taylor, who's arguably the best running back in the NFL right now. Eats arm tackles with ease. That's what I want to hear. And not to mention, he's a pretty decent receiver as well, so we can use him as a 3rd down back in relief of Kenneth Walker. I really like that idea potentially for Seattle in the 4th round. Shifting gears to the 5th round now, that's where we find an offensive guard, Chandler Zavala, in the 5th round at 151 overall. Graded out by PFF really well in run blocking, also in zone, and in true pass set, pass block, and pass blocking. All of those boxes he checked off as far as that goes. This could be an undervalued guy if he's still around the 5th round. You're feeling pretty decent about. Also in the 5th round, just a couple picks later, we go back to the defensive side of the ball, and that is where we find Jonathan Tavia with this selection at 154. And with Jonathan here, with the 5th round pick, to me it's amazing to see him at this spot still around. Because listen to these grades. I know I'm using PFF a decent amount today, but hear me out on this, because this just blows my mind that he would still be available in the 5th round. This past season, his overall grade was a 92. Okay, I don't care if you play in the Mountain West Conference or the SEC. 92 is good wherever that's at. It gets better, though. His pass rush grade, 92.2. And his run defense grade, 87.9. That tells me that Big Jonathan here can do everything well. I like that. Couple more draft picks to get to here in just a second. What is the biggest area of need for Seattle? Tell me what you think. What do the Seahawks need to address in this draft and the rest of this offseason? What do they need to take care of? Let me know in the comment section. Tell me what you think the biggest area of need is for your Seattle Seahawks. Couple more picks to go. Let's go to the 6th round now. That's where we find Clayton Tune, the quarterback out of Houston. Now, I got to tell you, I am of the belief, the Bill Belichick philosophy, that if you have the picks to do so, and the Seahawks do with 10, then you should be selecting a quarterback in every single draft. Because, as John Schneider would say, quarterbacks don't grow on trees. And they could become a backup. They could become a trade piece of some sorts. I mean, it's another, chip in your arsenal of some sorts. And Clayton Tune in the 6th round might be just that potentially for Seattle. Number 8 quarterback on Mel's big board, first-team All-American Athletic Conference this past year. And, I mean, he's a touchdown machine. 3rd nationally in passing touchdowns. And he set the American Athletic Conference single-season record for touchdown passes with 40 this past year. Clayton Tune could be a diamond in the rut. And think about this. Brock Purdy, who the Niners found in the 7th round last year, ended up being a very good piece for the Niners. And you look at Clayton Tune, maybe he could have that Brock Purdy effect, where if he got his opportunity, he could prove his worth and be a nice piece for the Seahawks to potentially have to deal with in their future of some sorts. I really like Clayton Tune. Our final pick of this draft with the 237th selection, the Seattle Seahawks select Drake Thomas, linebacker from NC State. Now, let me get you this numbers. More PFF for you. Back-to-back seasons for Drake Thomas where he had overall grades plus 80. Very solid in pass rush, excellent in run defense. 7th-round guy, still has a pretty decent chance to make your 53-man roster as far as I think. So to recap, let's go through all the picks for your Seattle Seahawks. First round, we went Jalen Carter. He slides to us at 5. I know there's some character concerns and all that, but we don't care. We're going to take him anyway. 20, that's where we find Jordan Addison. I know some of you are thinking, wide receiver, really that high? You paid Draymond Jones. You can do this. Trust me. Jordan Addison's a good pick. Then we go to the 2nd round. That's where we find Emmanuel Forbes, still sitting around. He's got a 1st-round grade. He slides to us. We'll take it. Then also in the 2nd round, we go to the offensive line. Luke Weipler, who's a center, but also could play guard potentially. We like that flexibility. 3rd round, we find Dorian Williams, the linebacker from Tulane. Good all-around guy. I think you're feeling pretty good about that pick there. 4th round, we go running back. We find a backup for Kenneth Walker in Sean Tucker, who's we've been told is similar to Jonathan Taylor. We like hearing that. 5th round, we go offensive line with Chandler Zavala at that spot. 5th round, we go defensive line with Jonathan Tavia with that selection at 154. 6th round, we go quarterback. We stockpile at the quarterback position for a guy that I think could be sneaky good in Clayton Tune. And then we wrap up things in the 7th round with Drake Thomas, the linebacker from NC State, who even as a 7th-round pick, I think could have potential to make your 53-man roster. So that is our picks for Seattle in this 7-round mock draft. All 10 selections. How did I do? Let me know. Grade it for me in the comments section. A, B, C, D, or F. Show me all those A's. Give me the A's. I know that you loved this mock draft. And even if you hated it, that's okay too. But let me know how you would grade this mock draft for the Seattle Seahawks, A, B, C, D, or F. And feel free to get in the comments section and tell me why you graded me the way you did, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know. Also, you can hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Tyler Jones Live. You can follow me there. Tell me what you thought of this mock draft. Love talking Seahawks with you guys, and I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right, we got one more segment to go. Get into the mailbag, and then we got to pay off some boots and do some drinking and enjoy ourselves. All right, Seeps, what did you think of that mock draft there?
I liked it all. I do see people getting upset with the Jalen Carter pick. I understand, huge boomer bust, but again, he didn't have, I don't know. I just feel like he's got a lot going on. I think people are kind of seeing his character concerns, or I think they're overstating him.
I think people are overreading into it.
Yes, I think they are. I mean, he's had a lot going on. I like the Carter pick, though.
Yeah, I think folks are reading too much into it. The talent speaks for itself. He's the best player. He's arguably the best player in this draft.
He could legit be the next Frank Clark.
Right.
And if you could draft Frank Clark, come
on. Let's see. What's everybody saying in the chat here? Carter, okay, pick. The rest sucks. AFX wants me to take my shirt off. That's probably not happening. I'm going to be honest here. What else? Ryan says D+. Nate says B. Ducky says C-. Randall says D. Nick says C+. Y'all are haters. How could you not like the Jalen Carter pick? Goodness. No, I love the Carter pick, but everything else okay. Okay, thank you, Moon Man.
Thank you, Moon Man.
Thank you, Moon Man. Ducky says, I agree with round 1, A+. Round 2, I feel we could do better. Okay, that's fair. Derek says, didn't the Jalen Carter thing end with someone being killed? That's why I'm confused. I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Let's see. Man of Pitt says B for the mock will probably turn into an A. Brandon, not Carter, bro. I'm telling you, the talent is there. AFX, I like this. F for fantastic. Okay.
Yes. F for fantastic.
F for fantastic. All right, let's get to the mailbag. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the said mailbag. And then when we get done with the mailbag segment,
The boots.
then we're going to party. We'll get some boots. We'll have some drinks. We'll really enjoy ourselves when we get to this mailbag segment coming up here in just a bit. So, mailbag, then we got boots and drinking and having a good time. So, let's get started. Seeps, mailbag time. We ready to go? All right, here we go. Time for another award-winning mailbag edition of Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. And these mailbag questions come from our live shows that we do each and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And so here's what I need you to do. You may be saying to yourself, hey, can I be a part of mailbag? Well, hell yeah, you could be a part of a mailbag. But you got to join us for the live show. So go ahead and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you're aware when we go live for our live shows. And we'll answer your questions in real time and see what you guys have to say. Use that hashtag Seahawks Super Chat. We got you covered on our mailbags. Be a part of it. It's a heck of a time. Subscribe today and be a part of our mailbags here on Seahawks Today. First question from Pablo with a $50 Super Chat. Bang! Says, do you think the Seahawks draft safety in round 2? J.L. Skinner or Jordan Battle? Tyler and Patrick, what do you think NFL draft idea in the second round? Seeps, feel free to chime in on this, by the way, as well. I think that J.L. Skinner could be a very good option for Seattle. Before the Julian Love signing, I think the second round was the range we were talking about of Seattle drafting a safety with the injury concerns with Jamal Adams. But now that you've paid Julian Love, you're bringing back Ryan Neal. You got Quandre Diggs there as well. You don't even necessarily have to draft a safety now. If there's a guy you like, if you really like J.L. Skinner or one of these players is still around, I think you consider that. But, Seeps, I don't know about you, but I don't think that's a priority anymore compared to what it was even a week or two ago.
I mean, I agree, Tyler. We were talking about it earlier. Ravens, Seahawks, who really has the best safety group in the NFL? You can make an argument that's the Seahawks. I think they're fine at the safety position, but obviously, who knows what they're thinking over there.
Right. We'll see. But, yeah, you very well could. I like Skinner better than I do Jordan Battle, but both players very good, and I think the Seahawks would be happy to have either one, but you don't have to as far as I'm concerned. $200 Super Chat. Bang! From that random video guy, 98. My favorite video guy. What about Hendon Hooker? I would say this about Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker coming off the ACL injury, being 25 years old. I think he and I are close to the same age. I'm 26 myself. He had it late in the season, too. So I don't know what his recovery time is going to be like. It could be a while before he's playing football again. I get that you don't need him right away because you have Geno Smith on that 3-year contract. But that's kind of a red flag for me, that whole situation with Hendon Hooker. I wouldn't spend any earlier than a 4th-round pick on Hendon Hooker. If he's still around 4th round and beyond, then, yeah, I think you could consider Hendon Hooker, and there's a lot of upside there. I think another thing you have to consider, too, is, it wasn't until this past year that he had that breakout performance and had the year he had. Was that a one-hit wonder, or is that here to stay? I like Hendon Hooker. I think he can be a very good quarterback if he's healthy, but there are things that stand in the way, like we mentioned there. But Hendon Hooker, I'm certainly open to the possibility. Thanks for that massive super chat there, random video guy. Aiden says, what are the chances Seahawks take Anthony Richardson at 5? Well, here's what we know, okay? The Seahawks had a very good visit with Anthony Richardson at the Combine and spoke glowingly of each other, right? It almost felt like love at first sight of some sorts. But with that said, you have Geno Smith back. You got him on a 3-year contract. You don't have to draft the quarterback position. I have concerns about Anthony Richardson. I know Mel Kiper's got him projected to go to the Seahawks at 5 right now. But, I mean, you look at him, he's not that great of a passer. He's not very accurate. I know he's a hell of an athlete. I don't think the Seahawks are going to draft Anthony Richardson, but I wouldn't rule it out. I would say that it's somewhere in that probably 10 to 30% range of happening. I think it's certainly possible. I don't want it to happen, but it could. Should the Seahawks draft Anthony Richardson? This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Y for yes, in for no. Should the Seahawks draft Anthony Richardson or not? Let us know in the comment section. Y for yes, in for no, if Seattle should add the Florida quarterback. Charlie the Unicorn writes in, I think there's 0% chance the Seahawks take Jalen Carter. Reading between the lines, from what John Schneider has said on 710 about character and off-the-field due diligence about players, agree. Charlie the Unicorn, let me take you back a little bit further to a John Schneider pick in the Pete Carroll era. And let me remind you of Frank Clark, okay? There was some major red flags about Frank Clark coming out of Michigan. And there's been even more red flags in Frank Clark's career in the National Football League. They still picked him. He still was here for a few years. So they can say all that. They can talk out of their mouths and say one thing and then not do another. I still think that when you look at the talent level of Jalen Carter, it's hard to deny. It's hard to just walk away from that. I understand where you're coming from, but I think that if Carter's there at 5, you can't say no. Chris says, what should we do about the number 3 receiver spot? That's very interesting, isn't it, what the number 3 receiver position brings for Seattle? Because you obviously have DK, you have Tyler Lockett, those first 2 spots, but the number 3 receiver position, you never found consistency, whether it was Marquise Goodwin or some of these other guys. But to me, the draft has plenty of options. We did our mock draft earlier this week, and I took Jordan Addison to Seattle at 20. But I got to tell you, I like Jaxson Smith-Njigba. I also like Quentin Johnston. Zay Flowers isn't bad either. I think all of those guys would be natural fits. Tyler Lockett's not getting any younger, okay? Eventually somebody is going to have to be the number 2 receiver among DK Metcalf. And for the time being, why not give Geno a great arsenal of receivers as far as I'm concerned? So I like that possibility for Seattle to go with Addison or one of these top receivers with that 20th pick potentially to be your number 3 receiver. Should the Seahawks draft a receiver in the first round? S for sign, P for pass. What do you think? Let us know in the comments section if you'd like to see the Seahawks make that move or not. Tell me what you think. Should they draft a receiver in the first round with that 20th pick? S or P? Let me know. Lanny wants to know, or Lonnie rather, does losing Penny affect us? Talent level-wise, when Rashad Penny is healthy, when he's available, he is pretty dang good, right? But we hardly ever saw him healthy. That was one of the big concerns. And so losing Penny, does it affect us? I say not that much because you could never depend on him. You could never count on him to be available. And so if you can find another running back out there that is dependable, then you've taken care of things. And Kenneth Walker, last year as a rookie, was just as good as what Kenneth Walker has ever, what Rashad Penny has ever been. So does it affect you? I guess, to an extent, but he's replaceable, quite frankly. So I think Seattle is going to be just fine. Charlie writes, what's your favorite food or spread for a Seahawks pregame? Choice of beverage. So at Chat Sports, we have quite the time when it comes to game days here. We usually it's pizza on the menu. Sometimes it's some fried chicken from Raising Cane's or something like that. But I got to tell you, you can't go wrong with barbecue either. I think if you can get me some brisket, maybe some ribs, potentially speaking, I mean, you're looking at having a good time. Choice of beverage, if it's a soft drink, I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper. I love the 23 flavors of Dr. Pepper. You can't get better than that. But if I'm drinking alcohol, I mean, Michelob Ultra is where it's at. I mean, nice beer that just goes down real smooth. That's my choice. Now, if liquor's involved, then maybe we keep it simple with a Jack and Coke. I'll even throw you out a different one for you. Screwball and Dr. Pepper has been kind of a newer drink I've tried. Been a big fan of that as well. Might have to start drinking that on Seahawks game days. Ranch water can't go wrong with either. So I gave you plenty of options for Seahawks game day. And you know we have a good time here on the channel. Speaking of which, we have the best Seahawks coverage on the internet with our daily news and rumors segments. But when the season gets started, we're going to have watch parties again. It's going to be a hell of a time. We're counting down to the draft. We're talking all the moves the Seahawks are making. If you haven't subscribed, you're missing out, folks. You need to turn on notifications so you can be a part of what we're doing each and every day here on Seahawks Today. The best part about it, too, doesn't cost you a thing. It's free. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Got time for a couple more. Let's go to, is this supposed to be childish? Whatever it is. Thanks for the $10 super chat. We'll pay that off if you're watching on a live show coming up in a bit. Malik McDonald was a pick from Seattle that never played a snap. Jalen Carter won't be the next McDonald, will he? I don't think so. I like that you brought up that comparison because that's a name I have not heard in a while, Malik McDonald. But no, I don't think Jalen Carter is going to be Malik McDonald. I hope he's not Malik McDonald. Jalen Carter, even if he doesn't go to Seattle, I'm wishing him nothing but the best and hope that he figures it out and has a pretty nice career. Thanks for that super chat there, my guy. We'll pay that off here momentarily. Derek writes, do you think the Seahawks sign Bobby Wagner in the coming days? If he signs with Seattle, it's got to happen soon. Wherever he goes, I think we're going to know one way or the other very quickly where exactly we see Bobby Wagner play in 2023. We'll have that answer coming up in the coming days. That random video guy dropped that $200 super chat earlier. Do we need to worry about running back? I don't know if worry is the right term for that random video guy, but I would say that it should be taken care of. I don't think you're concerned, but it is something that needs to be addressed. It's not a high priority, but it is something that needs to be taken care of, if that makes sense, random video guy. And that's where I find day 3 being a good spot potentially for that. Frederick writes, do we trade up next year, number 1 pick, for one of the top quarterback prospects, no matter what we end up drafting? With love from Sweden. Thank you, my Swedish friend, and all our Swedish Seahawk fans. Hopefully you enjoy some Swedish fish. With that said, I am very open to that possibility. I would love to see the Seahawks trade up next year. Caleb Williams, Drake May, one of those guys. I like them both better than any quarterback in this draft. If you can trade back from 5 and then salvage a pick, pocket one for next year's draft, use those picks and move up, bam. I think you would love that idea. I think you're onto something there, Frederick. I could see that. Caleb Williams or Drake May, I'd love to see in Seattle. Last question from Nate. Nate writes in, do you feel like a 2-back system would be best for us like Philly did? 100%. No question about it, Nate. In today's National Football League, you have to have 2 running backs to be successful. The wear and tear that these backs go through and just all that they take on and everything, you have to have multiple running backs to work in today's NFL. So, yes, you got to have multiple guys because you got to give rest. You also have to have a third down back. You also have to think about short yardage and those things like that. Yeah, you got to have 2 backs to be successful as far as I'm concerned so you don't wear out your starter too much. as far as that goes. But, yes, you need a second running back. Please, get Kenneth Walker another guy, and the Seahawks should be in good shape for running back. All right. The moment you've all been waiting for. We got 2 boots on deck. We got some drinking to do, a few other things. Seeps is going to get a boot ready for himself, one for me as well. But let's respond to some questions here. Should Seattle draft Anthony Richardson? The question that we asked you a few moments ago. I want to see what you guys have to say about this. And feel free to elaborate on your answers, and I'll react to them. Randall says no. I agree. I would say no to that as well. What else we got in the comment section? What do you guys have to say about the possibility of drafting Anthony Richardson? Nate says no. Kaylee says we still have Dallas, right? Yes. DJ Dallas is still around. Travis Homer is gone. Man in a Pit says yes. Why, Man in a Pit? Why do you want to see Anthony Richardson? Mikey in Houston says maybe if he falls to 20. Yeah. I'm still out on that. I don't even have a first-round grade on Anthony Richardson myself. Joseph says no. Brandon says no. Jess says no. Frederick says hell no. Board Skyler, we'll throw up your super chat once Seeps gets back in just a second. When Seeps gets back, we'll throw up your super chat. I don't have the powers to put that on screen, but we'll get to that here in just a second. What else is the chat saying? Nate says no, Lamar clone. Jeff says hell no on Richardson. Peter says if we didn't re-sign Geno or Drew Lock, then I'd say yes. Okay. Cam says no wait for quarterback Sam Hartman next year from Notre Dame. Sam Hartman. Interesting. I think that's the first time I've seen Sam Hartman mentioned in the chat. Shout out Sam Hartman. Let's see. The random video guy says, I've seen nothing wrong with him. Don't trade up for Richardson, but Anthony Richardson has shown some good accuracy from what I've seen in the combine. So that's a good pick. Okay. Joseph says he is not accurate and can't read a defense. Okay. Kevin McCoy, my Seahawks fan from the UK, just tweeted at me and says, I really liked your mock draft. I gave it an A-. Thank you for that. I'm glad somebody liked it. I had some people that were hating on my mock draft. How dare you? It's okay to disagree. You know, everything I say here on Seahawks Today, you should take as gospel and just believe everything I say. That's how this show works, right? Not really. You get the idea. Brandon says, do you ever see the Patriots or Chiefs draft a damn quarterback? Patriots draft a quarterback about every year. Chiefs are probably actually going to draft a quarterback because Chad Henne retired. Let's see. Jaden says, go get DTR on day 3 or 4. I think he's meaning the UCLA quarterback, Thompson Robinson. All right, here's our first boot. Thank you, Tex. Tex, you want to say hi to the 12s? Tex, come on screen. Come on down. Everybody say hi to Tex. Tex. Tex, how we doing?
What's good? How y'all doing, Seahawks fans? How's the 12 doing?
Everybody, if you got questions for Tex, go ahead and send them now while we're here. Would you, with a $5 super chat, have you learned the DK song yet?
I have not learned the DK song yet.
We got to pay off the DK song, so
Sing it.
would you like to sing along as we sing the DK song?
I would like to sing along. You have the lyrics?
Here we go. Here's the lyrics.
Okay.
It goes, chompin', chompin', Carol's chompin', Geno passes, no one's stopping DK, touchdowns all day, he rules.
Okay, I know the last part.
No boot off. Okay, so we got to do one boot at a time. That's fine because Seeps would probably beat the crap out of me in a boot race anyway. But Tex is going to sing the DK song for the very first time with us. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Chompin', chompin', Carol's choppin', Geno passes, no one's stopping. DK, touchdowns all day. He rules. Nice job, Tex.
Hell yeah.
Tex.
Let's
Brandon
go.
says, who's the kid? That's Tex.
That's me.
That's producer Tex. He's here from time to time. Everybody say hi. Great job, Tex. I think that's the best performance I've seen from somebody learning the song for the very first time. He did pick it up quick. Nice job, Tex. All right, so we got some Super Chats to pay off. We had a 10 come in from Childish. That's a beer cheers. Childish, thank you for the $10 Super Chat. Let me pay these off, and then we'll get to our boots. Childish was asking about Jalen Carter, saying he won't be the next McDowell, will he? I hope not. Cheers to you, Childish. And then, scrolling back up here, trying to catch up. Make sure we get everybody. I don't want to miss any Super Chats because you guys. Ducky with a $5 Super Chat. Ducky, where does Bigsby fall? Tank Bigsby. Bigsby, I think, is going to be a 4th or 5th round guy. But I like Tank Bigsby a lot.
So I have a theory on running backs. With a name like Tank Bigsby, Tyler, he will be a for sure hit in the NFL.
Yeah.
Your name is Tank Bigsby?
And you're a running back?
Come on.
You're a tank.
Give me the tank, baby. Good question, Ducky.
That random video guy says, that was a good song. Well, thank you. We owe the song again for the $5 Super Chat. Seeps, I don't think you've done the song yet.
I don't think I've done it. Do you have lyrics I could go off of? Or am I just going to
chomping, Carol's chomping, Geno passes, no one's stopping DK. Touchdowns all day. He rules. Right. I'll sing it with you.
All right.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Chomping, Carol's chomping, Geno passes, no one's stopping DK. Touchdowns all day. He rules. Not bad. Not bad.
And it takes him getting used to, but
you and Tex were a lot better than Rolly. Rolly, I still think doesn't know the words.
That kid's a lost cause, Tyler.
I think me and Rolly needed an arm wrestle at some point too. All right, so it's boot time.
All right, what are you going for right now?
Over under 20 seconds.
Okay, all right, I got you. I got the stopwatch ready to go, fellas.
All right, here we go. What do we think, folks? Here's a little poll before we do this. Over under 20 seconds on Das Boot. Here it is.
Type the O's for over. Type the U's for under.
O for over. U for under. Do you believe in me? Can I do it under 20 seconds? Where are my 12s at? What do you guys think? O for over. U for under. That random video guy doesn't want Tank, by the way.
You don't want Tank? If they don't take Tank.
Oh, if they don't take Tank. Oh, he wants Tank. Okay.
He's a man of class.
O for over, U for under. Do I get the boot in under 20 seconds? Raw Hector says under.
He believes in you.
Seeps, do you believe in me?
I think you got this. I think 20 is – I think that's a generous line for yourself, Tyler.
Okay. Randall says over. Am I sandbagging the line here?
I think you are sandbagging a little bit.
Okay. M. Grubb says under. Random video guy says you got this.
Kaylee saying over. She's doubting you.
Kaylee, what the hell? What did I do to you?
Come on, Kaylee.
Ryan says make up for that mock. I had a great mock. Come on now. All right.
Get him, Ryan.
Let's get after it.
All right.
Spam Chug in the chat.
Get him going.
Seeps is going to get on the play-by-play. He's going to time it. Let's see what our timing is today.
Unreal stream from the real ones.
First boot, and then Seeps is going to do a boot after. So,
and I'm actually going to make this a green boot for the Seahawks.
Ooh.
I'm going to get a little saucy.
A little green boot. I like it. Here we go, Seeps.
Here we go. Mr. Tyler Jones. He's serious. He's taking off the headset. He's ready to go. The look of the champion in his eyes. Here we go. Tyler Jones. Over under 20 seconds.
Like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Kaylee saying, you got this. She takes it back, Tyler.
Lord says, missed my super.
We threw it up.
We didn't throw it on screen.
Here we go. Board Scholar. We'll hit that. Oh, he's talking about Fournette.
Yeah. Oh, Fournette. We did sing. We did sing it, but we didn't read it. We'll take care of this first real quick. Fournette, he was healthy last year and does well in short yardage. Then we can use that pick for receiver. Thank you for all you do, Tyler. Thank you, Skyler, for your $5
Shout out,
Skyler. Leonard Fournette, I think he's kind of old now.
He's washed.
I'd rather go young at running back than go Leonard Fournette.
And plus, you got about 12 running backs in this year's draft that are pretty solid. So.
Yeah. But thank you, Skyler, for that $5 super chat. All right, now time to chug.
All right, Tyler Jones.
Here we go. Spam chug in the chat.
Here we go.
5.
Oh, it's adding that up. All right, we're good. 3,
2, 1, chug.
Off to the races. Tyler Jones. Oh, this is looking like an easy under. The chugs are coming in the chat. Raw Hector saying chug. Mikey's in Houston. He's saying chug. We are 10 seconds in. About half the boot is down. This is going to be a photo finish. 15 seconds. 16 seconds. Boots on the table.
17
seconds.
Ah! Beautiful. We did it. We did it. We did it. Spam Jones in the chat. Spam Jones. Spam Jones. Unbelievable. What a performance. Can you believe what you just saw? America. Seahawks. Seattle. Chat Sports. Oh. Take that, Kaylee. You doubted me. I never let you down. Oh. Wow. Oh, I feel great. I feel great. Now Seeps' turn. And if this is the first time you've ever seen the boot on Seahawks Today, if you thought that was impressive, just wait for Patrick Seatman. He'll blow your mind, America. Mikey says Jones has won the pennant. Jones has won the pennant. Let's go. Woo! Woo! Kayla says USA. USA! 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 Derek, you sent in a super chat and it's not showing? Oh, Derek, Seeps is on the controls. He's getting the boot ready. We'll throw it on screen here in just a second. Stand by, Derek. We have not forgotten about you. The forgotten men and women will be forgotten no longer. We have you covered. Kaylee says I'm the real MVP. I think you are, Kaylee, even if you doubted me on that boot. Derek, stand by. We'll throw your super chat up. Don't worry. We got you covered. Seeps has got a boot on the way. Folks, we can party all night long. We can have a very good time this evening. But we got to have reason to keep the party. We're $4 away from 500 in super chats tonight. Who's going to be the one? I'm doing this. And there's the Seahawks boot in green. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, you guys can't even see it. Wait.
Oh, there we go. So, I got an offer for you, folks. We are $4 away from 500. I'm taking a shot for getting to 500. Who is going to be the one that gets us to that milestone to get to 500? I'm going to take a shot for getting there. Seeps has got the boot ready. Oh, he's game ready.
Oh, we're ready. This is going to be an all-timer, man.
Dun, 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 dun.
Over under
dun, dun,
17. That's
Over under 17.
You got time.
Oh, I'm ready. Are you ready, America? Spam, chug in the chat. Seeps, this is his moment. This is what he was born to do.
I'm hyping this up too much.
Let's go. 5.
They're calling me washed.
4. Brandon's calling you washed? Whoa.
Calling me washed.
Whoa. Can you believe that? Don't.
Fuel me, Brandon.
Haters are your motivators. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And he's off. Chug, 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 chug. Can he get under 17? Oh, he's putting that thing down. He's making good progress. Here he goes. Here he goes. Down to the finish. Will he get there? 3, 2, 1, done. Oh! 17.6.
Oh.
Nearly identical time.
Tyler.
Let's go.
We do.
Let's go.
This is a duo right here, man.
Unbelievable. Jordan and Pippen.
Oh, here we
Oh, oh. Super chats flying, rolling. Let's start off with Derek. I promised him we'd pay that off. Derek, we got you covered. Don't worry. Woo! Are you not excited after that? Derek with a $2 super chat. Predict Gino's stats for this upcoming season. I think he can have another 30 touchdown year again. I think 30 touchdowns, 4,000 yards, and you'd hope that he can keep the interceptions 10 or less. I think that would be fantastic for Geno Smith as far as I'm concerned. Derek, thank you for the $2 super chat there. Next super chat we got from Christopher Bryson, $20 super chat. Christopher sent in. Let's see what Christopher said. $20, no comment. Hey, that's fine too. Christopher Bryson. Christopher's an OG. Christopher is been on the Boot Hall of Fame before. I don't think he's on the new Boot Hall of Fame. He's 80 away from a spot on the new Boot Hall of Fame. But Christopher, we love you. That's a couple beer cheers to you. So this one, first one to Christopher Bryson, my guy. Thanks for being a part of the show. Cheers to you. And then the next one to the 12s. Cheers to the 12s out there.
Shout out to you guys.
Good work. Christopher Bryson's the one, Seeps, that got me the 69 Jones jersey.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, Christopher, thank you. That's a sick jersey.
It's nice.
It's nice.
Kaylee with a $5 super chat. She doubted me.
She did doubt you, Tyler.
But you know what? She delivered, and we owe a shot. I said when we got to over 500, we were taking a shot.
What a day
so
Seahawks today.
521.
What a stream, fellas. What a stream.
I haven't even heard from my guy Sanchez today, and we're over 500.
No Sanchez, and we're at over 500.
What an awesome day we're having here on the channel. Kaylee, is this Kaylee's first time on the stream? I don't know if I've seen you before, Kaylee, but I hope you stick around and join us for our shows each and every week.
It's good to have you, Kaylee.
It's good to have you here, Kaylee. This one is to Kaylee and the rest of the 12s out there. Cheers to you.
To the 12s.
All right. $521. Kaylee said I sent a sticker, but I don't have any questions. That's fine, too.
I wish the stickers pulled on our software because I see the dancing little pear.
Right.
It looks sweet. Of course, it only pops up as pear character cheerfully blowing a party.
Right. That's fine. Thank you, Kaylee, for the love there.
Yeah,
521 in Super Chats. 80 away from another boot.
Jeez.
Could it happen again? Can we get a third boot on today's show? We'll see.
We'll see.
Let's show the Super Chat menu. This show has been nuts today, Seeps.
Tyler, I told you at the beginning, man. We just make magic.
And here's the thing, too, folks. Like, we're willing to stay here as long as we need. We can keep talking Seahawks. We can talk NFL. Seeps and I are huge college basketball guys. We can talk March Madness with you.
But the soups need to keep coming.
You can even ask about our personal lives. I don't care. I mean, whatever you guys are feeling, we will keep this show going. Is Brandon trying to flirt with Kaylee in the chat? Brandon, don't be creepy now. Don't be creepy, okay? Kaylee says Cam Chancellor is my favorite.
Hey, Kaylee, he was probably my favorite I'm a Vikings fan. He was probably my favorite non-Viking growing up.
All right. So here's what we'll do. Kaylee says my youngest is named after him. That's pretty cool. Naming your kid after Cam Chancellor.
That's pretty sick. Is it spelled K with a Cam?
Trace, come on through.
I'm leaving.
Say hi to the 12s out there. And Trace was here.
The 12s!
Trace was here with us when Jaron Reed signed. We had a great time.
I'll do a shot for the 12s.
You'll do a shot for the 12s?
I'll do a shot for the 12s.
Bring back the 12 shots.
For the 12s.
You invented
For
this.
the 12s.
You invented this last week.
Just straight out the bottle.
Straight
for
out the bottle.
12s.
It's a 12 shot. Look at that. Isn't that impressive?
Oh, yeah, that's spicy.
I'll make you
see it, Trace.
I'll make you want to do something you shouldn't do.
That'll put some hair. That'll put some hair on your chest.
I'll make you kiss your sister.
Oh God. Thank you, Trace.
That's a bar.
We've seen. Whose phone's this, by the way? Oh, don't leave without it.
Jeez, I was-
Yeah.
See you, fellas. Good shot.
See you,
Brody.
Trace.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, Philip with a
Fuck yeah.
Fell off.
20. Okay. Show goes on. We were just about to get to the shot clock, not going to lie. And the question's below, so he didn't get it in the super chat himself, but we can still answer this. Seeps. Ernest Johnson to share load with Walker. Adams at linebacker. Love at nickel. 5, Carter. Jaxson Smith-Njigba at 20. Jack Campbell, 37. Hendon Hooker at 52. To heal and learn behind Geno. What do you think? All right, let's take this piece by piece. There's a lot to dissect from this comment. D'Ernest Johnson to share the load with Walker.
I like that.
That could be a good 1-2 punch. I like that possibility. It's fine with me. Jamal Adams at linebacker. I've been saying this, Seeps, that needs to happen. Jamal Adams, play him at linebacker. You brought in Julian Love. You have Ryan Neal there.
Especially with Jay Love coming in. I mean, there's no reason.
And you have such a need at linebacker. To me, that makes sense. Let's see. Love at nickel. See, that's where it gets off. That's the one thing I disagree with here, Philip, is if you move Adams, then you move him to nickel. Are you starting Ryan Neal at safety? I think, in theory, you would like to have Ryan Neal either as your nickel or backing up your starting safeties.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I disagree with. Not a huge disagreement. Jalen Carter, I like at 5. Good call. Jaxson Smith-Njigba at 20. I like that too. Jack Campbell at 37. I like that as well. Hendon Hooker at 52. That might be where things are a bit too high for me. Other than that, Philip, I think you're full of great ideas.
I don't hate Hendon Hooker at 52 as much as you do, Tyler.
Okay. And I owe a couple beer chugs.
Shout out to Philip. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Philip. By the way, so we told you about Brandon trying to hit on Kaylee a little bit.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Brandon says, I'm sure you both love the Hallmark Channel. I don't know where that came from. Kaylee has a boyfriend, though. He's not a football fan. Ooh. So, is that kind of a deal breaker? I mean, Seeps, could you be with a girl that wasn't a sports fan?
Yeah, I think I could. It would make it more challenging, though. It's definitely like icing on the cake to have a girl who watches sports, because then you can talk to her about it, talk about.
We've gotten to that point of the hour here on the show today. Here's where I'm at as far as that goes, Seeps, in my predicament of some sorts, is with the jobs that we work, and then when we're going home and we're watching sports and all that, if you're going out with a girl that's not a sports fan, it's hard for them to understand, I need to watch that game.
That's a good point.
That's where it comes in.
Because it's like part of the job, and I don't think most would understand.
Or even when it's not, that's my team. I want to watch this game.
Yes.
And they're like, why do you have to if it's not related to work? Like, no, it's a part of my inner being.
Yeah.
That's where it gets difficult. So
I think at least football.
Yes.
I can understand if you don't like basketball, and I'm more of a basketball guy myself, but, I would need football, on that Sunday, so. Yeah.
It's getting interesting in this chat. I can tell you that much.
Oh, it is.
Let's throw that super chat menu back up. We're at 5:41 right now. We're 60 away from another boot. Kaylee says, Tyler, love Dr. Jones. Love the channel. Kaylee, in not a way like Brandon, I mean this politely, we love you too. Not the way Brandon does. Respectfully, we love you too. Thanks for being here today. All right, so we're 60 away from Das Boot again. We can induct some more Boot Hall of Fame members for $100 a piece. $25 will do a beer chug, $10 beer cheers, $7 shots for Geno, $5 DK song. We can talk all Seahawks, we can talk NFL, whatever's on your mind.
You guys lead the conversation.
Plenty. Seeps and I are big college basketball fans. We can talk plenty of March Madness as well with you. Whatever you're feeling, we can make happen here on Seahawks Today. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm putting 2 minutes on the shot clock.
Okay.
If we get a super chat of any amount in the next 2 minutes, show rolls on, we keep going. If not, we sign off and we call it a day, and that's fine too. So up to you guys if you want to keep this show going. Otherwise, we sign off and we call it a day. Whatever you're feeling, guys, we'll enjoy ourselves here. 2 minutes on the shot clock. Super chat of any amount, we stay live. Otherwise, we sign off and call it a day. The questions are very interesting, but here's the deal. We're at this point of the show, since the mailbags have passed, the only way we can guarantee we can respond is if you super chat. So That's how it works now. We've gotten to this point. Although the chat is very, very interesting. The Love Doctor. That's a new one.
The Love Doctor. The Love Doctor.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. All right, 1 minute gone by.
I need a doctor.
Need a doctor. Derek says, Tyler Jones, thanks for all the news. You guys are great. You're great.
We do this every week, guys.
Every week. If this is your first time here,
what are you doing?
Come back.
Come back. Come hang out.
I got to tell you, Steve, credit to you. You called your shot before we entered today and said, when I show up and when Tyler and I are working together, things
It's cooking with grease, Tyler.
go crazy. And they did.
That's what we do. We had 2 boots back to back.
All right, shot clock down to 20 seconds. If we want to keep the show live, then we got to have a super chat come in. Brandon, it's your first time here. That's awesome. Post B says we should be live every day. Tell my bosses that one. There we go.
Here we go.
2 super chats. And a March Madness question.
I love this.
Here we go. From that random video guy who dropped that 200 piece earlier.
That was awesome.
And I got to take a Geno shot for this.
Oh, Derek.
Also got to do the DK song here. Who do you got for the March Madness Championship? Okay, Seeps, you go ahead first.
You see that X right there? The Xavier Musketeers from Cincinnati, Ohio. That's who I got winning it all. That's like, obviously I went to Xavier, so that's kind of my homer pick. I do like the Zags a lot this year for all your Seattle fans. I don't really know. I think it's either going to be a Big East team. That's what I'm going to say. Creighton, UConn, or Xavier. Those are my three picks.
Okay.
What about you, Tyler? Who are you with the field left right now?
You know me. Yeah. I love Brandon Miller. You and I.
Oh yeah, no, I should have said that.
We are both big Brandon Miller fans. We are a pro Brandon Miller office.
Huge pro Brandon Miller office.
He was not charged. He was vindicated.
Yep.
He's a clean man, and he's going to have a great NBA career. I'm rooting on Brandon Miller. I think Brandon Miller is about to bring home a national title to the Alabama Crimson Tide.
I think he is.
Cheers to that random video guy.
It depends if he has, I feel like freshmen, and we kind of saw this with Grady Dick, unreal talented players. It's just if they can get it, if he can be like a Carmelo type of thing, and go win it his freshman year. But we'll see. Kaylee, pizza time. See ya.
I'm all in on Brandon Miller. Also, the other team, and I know that you might call this a cop-out answer.
Oh.
The other 1 seed, Houston, now that Marcus Sasser is healthy.
He looks good.
I mean, Houston, when they're healthy, is as good as anybody in America.
Yeah.
And the fact that they could play the Final Four in their backyard in Houston, that's dangerous.
And the title game would be in Houston,
that too, yeah.
That's incredible. That'll be interesting. God, could you imagine a Houston-Bama natty? That would be.
I'm going to be at the Final Four.
I may be there if X makes it, so.
Derek with a $1 super chat, and then he followed up with a message, said, sing this. Tyler, perfect. Tyler, DK, never. Tyler, DK, Tyler is the duo that can both play with DK and Tyler your way. They'll score.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Oh, my gosh. So Kaylee said that she's watched us before, but this is her first time participating.
Hey, anytime you're in, hop in the chat.
Isn't that how fun the chat can be?
It is. It's a family feel here.
Awesome. So those super chats put us at 554.
45.
We are now just around $45 away from another boot. We could also induct some Boot Hall of Fame members as well tonight. $100 gets you a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. MVP today is that random video guy 98.
Easy.
What a performance for a debut for that random video guy.
This was his debut here.
Yeah.
Jeez,
$200 super chat, just bang.
You know, when you see that red in the chat, it was
Doesn't that make you feel good?
yeah. Oh, it fires you up. It's an adrenaline rush.
All right, back to the shot clock. 2 minutes. Super chat, we stay live, otherwise we sign off. Let's see. But yeah, March Madness.
I can't wait for this weekend.
So typically what happens, historically speaking, is you have the big upsets in the first weekend, and then things come back to reality in the second weekend. The cream kind of rises to the top, and I think you're going to see that with Alabama and Houston, some of these other teams this weekend.
Yeah, normally you look at the Final Four and you're like, oh, wow, it is just a bunch of 1s and 2s typically. But that bottom left side of, like Tennessee, who do they got? Tennessee, FAU, Kansas State, Michigan State.
Michigan State, yeah.
The 1 and 2 seeds are done there. That's going to be interesting to see who comes out of that bracket. We both expect Bama to come out of top left. Creighton is my sleeper, though, to knock them out in the Elite Eight.
Creighton looked great against Baylor.
And now they got kind of a cakewalk against, I shouldn't say that, Princeton. Respect to you guys, but I think their time's over.
Right? So tomorrow, you got Michigan State and Kansas State. That should be a great game.
Oh, that's going to be a great game.
Arkansas and UConn should be a very solid game.
Arkansas and UConn might be the best game of the weekend.
FAU, Tennessee. FAU, I think, has got a real shot.
I think they do, too. I just can't stand FAU now after they went for the 360 dunk up 7 with a second left.
And then Gonzaga, UCLA.
That's another.
I know they're not in the same conference, but it almost feels like a rivalry game.
It does. It does. And that's so rare in college sports to have an out-of-conference rivalry game.
20 seconds on the shot clock. Super chat, we stay live, otherwise we sign off. But, yeah, Gonzaga and UCLA, that was a classic when they played a couple years ago.
The Jalen Suggs pull-up game winner. Oh, that was awesome.
Do you remember where you were at for that game?
The Jalen Suggs game winner.
I was in Kansas City at Power and Light District, which is across from T-Mobile Center.
Uh-huh.
And they had the game on the big screen there.
Okay.
And I was with my family. It was Easter weekend, actually. And we were having some drinks watching the game. And everyone there, like, no one had a rooting interest of some sorts. But the place just went nuts. Everybody went on their feet.
That was one of those special moments, man.
All right. I did not see a super chat come in. So we will sign off. I will give a minute in case YouTube needs a process or something, because sometimes we've been burned in the past. We signed off and didn't have a super chat and had a super chat come in after the fact. But nonetheless, Seeps, hell of a time today.
Hell of a time, Tyler.
Thanks for stepping in and making this.
I was supposed to be on here with you guys, and it's been a great time. So
I found out that Seeps and I were working together about 30 minutes before the show started, and we had a historic day on the channel.
Efficient, got it done.
If this is your first time here, we are here each and every week. Let me put the sub link in the chat to make sure you subscribe. And I know that we do the super chats and all that's awesome, and we appreciate it, and that's a big deal. Helps us out and everything. But the best way to subscribe to help us out, that's totally for free, doesn't cost you a thing, is subscribing to the channel.
Oh, yeah.
Sublink is in the chat right now. We're getting close to 36,000 subscribers. Subscribe for the latest happenings on your Seattle Seahawks. We're talking news and rumors, trades, free agency, doing our live shows during the week. Sublink's in the chat right now. If you haven't already, hit that sub button. We'll see you next time. For Patrick Seatman, our entire crew, I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great